Assalamualaikum and good day to all the panel. I'm Nurfarzliana binti Ahmad. My research title is The Impact of the Sponsorship on Achievement of SMK Ungku Hussein Football Team. Okay, let's start the first point, which is background of study. There are several previous studies that study this effect, such as UKSA November 2018. They have studied that same impact on the English football team. Previous study have focused more on the big and high level football team, which is the country of England. For the first variable is sponsorship. Many organizations still rely on sponsorship as an essential funding mechanism for its continued operation, which is according to Cornwell and Magnan, 1998. According to Biscaya 2013, sponsorship is a company's investment in cash or kind for creating a business-to-business relationship with a sport team. According to Wakefield and Bennett 2010, team achievement is defined as the success of the team relative to other primary competitors in objective terms. And according to Boeing 2002, which is more specifically, fans tend to have a positive association with a winning team and hence at the same time their self-image. And for achievement is involve finding effect the achievement team or club. For this study, researchers would like to study the effect of sponsorship on the achievement of football teams in high school, which is SMK Ungku Hussein. Researchers want to focus on this group because they want to see if the achievement for this football team are affected by the sponsorship. As we can see, the cut of newspaper this is one of the attraction of the sponsor to sponsor this school team, which is their spirit. Because of this, researchers interested in studying the impact of sponsorship on the achievement of this school football team. This is also target population for the study. The second point is statement of the problem. According to a report from Deloitte 2005, most of the sponsorship deals among professional football clubs. By lack of sponsorship, study focusing on the low level of tournament. However, the young team is a backbone to future sport development. So, the researcher want to see the achievement of young team in football sport. Second case study, which is according to Biscaya 2014, sponsorship effectiveness in professional sport. An examination of recall and recognition among football fans by lack of study focusing on sports sponsorship between schools. However, sponsorship more to choose the popular team. The problem that researchers find from previous study is situation where sponsorship does not focus on low-level tournament and relationship between two variables not clear. Here is research objective. There are two research objectives. The first is to identify the impact of the sponsorship on the achievement of football team. Second, to investigate the relationship between sponsorship and achievement of football team. Next is significance of the study. This gives benefit to athlete, coach, and sport researcher. For athlete can use this study to what point can motivate them for being a successful person to get their own sponsorship. For the coach can get information on the benefit of sponsorship in sport. And for sport researcher, it can use the data for future studies was related to this study. Okay, next one is literature review. For literature review, researcher get some information about the variable that the researcher want to investigate in previous studies, which is for sponsorship. It according to Mir 1997, sport sponsorship has become a distinctive approach company used to reach consumer that can benefit from targeting this exclusive market. According to Buffalo and Nuffer, 2010, it's mentioned that sponsorship can take various forms, which include cultural, education, social, environmental, sporting organization sponsorship, or individual sponsorship deals. For second variable, which is team achievement, is according to Coronius 2015, a series of research has examined the impact of sports team performance and its level of achievement on supporters, degree of identification with the team, and by extension on their attitude and behavior toward the sponsor. And for another studies, which is according to Wakefield and Bennett 2010, it defined team achievement is the success of the team relative to other primary competitors in objective terms. Okay, for the relationship between sponsorship and football achievement, we researchers have found in several studies is the first example, according to Minigan 1991, they say sponsorship serve not only to benefit the contributing organization but also promote the event whose sponsorship take place. Next slide is about research framework. This is two variables that researchers use in these studies. The first is independent variable, which is hypothesized to influence the outcome variable under study. And under independent variable is sponsorship. For dependent variable is an outcome whose variation the study seeks to describe, explain for by influence of independent variable, which is under dependent variable is team achievement. Next is about methodology. The first is research design. Research design that researchers use to this study is descriptive study, which is describe a present situation, what people currently believe or what people are doing at the moment. It to identify the first objective, which is identify the impact of sponsorship on achievement football team. And second is conducted by collection information, and from information describe the situation the researcher use. Next is correlational design. Correlation design is to determine if a relationship exists between variable and no manipulation of variable. In this research design, the second objective that use the correlational design, which is to investigate the relationship between sponsorship and team achievement football team. Okay, now we see the sampling. The first is target population of this study is student SMK Ungku Hussein. The number of population is 1,205 students. This data is official from PPD Mersing 2020, which is Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Mersing, in this year 2020. From this population, the number of samples is 291. Based on Tabor, Christie, and Morgan 1907, the estimate sample base need to be taken from the total number of population is 291. By then, 20% sample need to be added in order to avoid from unwritten rate or dropout. So the total sample will be taken is 349 students. Now we move to sampling technique. Every member of the population has an equal probability of being selected of the sample. Okay, for sample technique, we use the probability sampling. Sampling technique is which the probability of selecting each participant is known and utilize random process but does not guarantee the sample is representative of population. Every element within the population has a known probability of being selected for the sample and estimate of sampling error are possible. And for cluster sampling. Next, researchers use cluster sampling, which is cluster sampling or area sampling is a simple random sample in which each sampling unit is a collection or cluster of elements. The way is collect all sample then divide into group. From the cluster, the reviewer choose a cluster that meets the title related features of the footballer. Okay, under methodology, we have instrumentation. Researchers use two variables in doing a questionnaire, which is the first variable is impact sponsorship. According to Coronius 2016, this area will use the scale of agree and disagree to get accurate information about the sponsorship involved in the sport of football. It consists of 11 questions, which is respondents who asked to give their opinion on a 5 to 1 Likert scale, which is strongly agree equal 5, agree equal 4, neutral or undecided equal 3, disagree equal 2, and strongly disagree equal 1. So the researcher used the previous study instrumentation, for example, to do their study about impact sponsorship. Okay, for variable 2, which is achievement football team. According to Brand Handsome 2019, there are questions related to student demographic. Questions in this section will be asked directly to choose only and do not use scale. This question focus more on matter related to the student themselves. This term is consists 5 items, which is 5 questions, and directly answer from student and respondent. Okay, this is a flow for data collection procedure. The first, we need to have ethic approval. Second, we need to ask permission to do research. For this study, researcher must ask permission from the school SMK Hussein to do this research for their student. The third is description about the study. Explain, elaborate to the respondent and to the school that the researcher want to use their student for this study. And next is distribute questionnaire through online. The researcher use Google Form and distribute questionnaire through online to the student. It because it's easy to respondent answer it. And the last is analyze the data and questionnaire. For data analysis, we use the research objective, which is the first is to identify the impact of the sponsorship on the achievement of football team. For this objective, we use the descriptive statistic analysis. And the second is to investigate the relationship between sponsorship and achievement of football team. Researcher use the correlation design. This is some reference that researcher use in this study. That's all from me. Thank you.